It is a beautiful night in downtown Charlotte, and we're ready for a brand new rivalry in the USL as the Charlotte Independents take on Atlanta United 2. A little bit to the southeast here at the Matthews Sportsplex. Should be fun. Drew Felios alongside Bruce Silverman. First meeting between these two clubs. Should be an awesome night of soccer.
Hey, Drew, there's 245 miles between these two clubs. The derby of I-85, and it should be a really good one as these two teams are so close together, and yet Charlotte, hey, they've been around for a while.
Certainly have, and so far, Bruce, it's been a well-oiled machine offensively for the Independents. 6 points with 6 goals. They've only conceded 1, playing great football up to this point.
No, absolutely. Charlotte sitting atop the East, and with Lou City getting a big win over Tampa Bay today, this is a night where they can separate themselves against this Atlanta 2 club.
Charlotte has never won 3 straight out of the gate, so win tonight would give them that for the first time in franchise history. These two clubs have only met one time before. That was in the preseason. Tonight, it counts, and it is going to be something special. The Independents hosting Atlanta United 2. Coming up next from Matthews. Welcome back to the Sportsplex at Matthews, and the pitch perfect tonight for Charlotte, taking on Atlanta. Drew Felios with Bruce Silverman. Going to see great talent on both sides tonight for Atlanta, their first road match here in Charlotte. And they've got a tremendous player by the name of Josef Samuel, who became the first to score a goal last week.
Yeah, he opened up the scoring in the very first match at Cool Ray. And there's a look at that gentleman right now. He will be playing that number 9, that striker position for Atlanta 2. Looking to add to his goal total. And a win tonight would really shorten up the space between Atlanta and Charlotte, and Herrera is another special player for the Independents.
Yeah, Jorge Herrera, 38 years old, but he certainly doesn't play like it, Bruce.
No, I mean, you just see him slip that right foot past, put Charlotte on the board, and for Charlotte, this is going to be an interesting thing, Drew. They've already beaten Ottawa. They've taken care of Toronto. This is the first time they're going to play a team in America.
Yeah, great point. Take a look at the starting lineup for Atlanta United 2. You see Samuel over there on the left side. Paul Christensen gets the star in goal. The former University of Portland star had 20 clean sheets in college, continuing to progress. Also, Metcalf,
the captain, who formerly played here in Charlotte. So you have that familiarity in that lineup right there. When you take a look at Charlotte, you're going to see a club that is very deep, has a lot of experience. But for me, I want to look at Sam Vines, 18 years old, playing that left fullback position. And then right in front of him, very experienced Alex Martinez.
Caleb Calvert up top, too, has been outstanding. A goal so far this year. This is his fourth season in the USL at age 21. Understands the system, and Charlotte looking so good since the start of the season. A 4-1 win over Ottawa, and then a 2-0 win over Toronto FC. And they're doing it, Bruce, with a completely rebuilt midfield.
Yeah, and when you look at Charlotte, it's hard to argue when you average 3 goals a game. If you can average 3 goals a game over a season, you're doing a lot of things right. Sun will play a little bit of a factor this evening, as we'll have some shadows for the next 15-20 minutes before everybody settles in a little bit.
Take a look at our keys to the match, Bruce. What are you looking for here tonight?
Well, first of all, you got to handle the pressure of what comes your way. You also have to dish out some pressure. Talking about taking advantage of the lead, Drew, this is something that Charlotte is used to. They've played with the lead, and they've been able to put their foot down on the gas and make sure that that lead stands up through 2 games. And defensively, hey, don't forget, Atlanta scored 3 goals in their opening match, and that was at home. And obviously now we have a corner early for Atlanta.
First Chick-fil-A corner kick of the night, sent out by the Jacks. And now Jack Metcalf with his first touch. Well, just outside the 18 and out of bounds. Again, Atlanta putting some early pressure on the Jacks.
Yeah, making our prediction about handling pressure, making us look really, really good on those keys to the game. And now we've got a corner coming up on the other side. And, you know, Atlanta has so many opportunities as Bello is going to take this in-swinger from the other side.
George Bello, one of the homegrown stars for Atlanta United, setting up the header. And Dykstra on the move to his right that time. Had some words for his defense. It's another good chance by Atlanta United, too. They have come here to play tonight.
Yeah, and that ball was played right where you wanted. It just was flicked a little bit to the left, but that ball was put in a fantastic spot to be able to make a good play on it. And Dykstra is spending a lot of time on his heels in less than 2 minutes.
Andrew Dykstra, 6'4", been really solid in the first 2 regular season matches. Remember, he was the 2013 USL Goalie of the Year. Now Joseph Samuel handling for the first time.
And look for Samuel to move all over the front side of this offensive attack for Atlanta. You'll see him in the center. We saw on the graphic he lined up on the right now. I'm sorry, on the left. Now you see him on the right. And this is the first opportunity for Charlotte to try to chase towards that defensive zone for Atlanta.
Bello with the nice touch. And Joel Johnson trying to be a factor for the Jacks. It'll be a throw in. Atlanta United won their first game ever last week against New York Red Bulls 2. That was a 3-1 count.
At home at Coolray in Gwinnett County, home of the Gwinnett Braves. Great place to watch a baseball game, so for Atlanta, it should bode well as a home pitch.
Stadium seats just over 10,000. Had a little over 5,000 for that opening contest. A really fun night.
I've been in that building where they drew very well as a baseball club, with the big club just down the street playing at home.
Here's Ekra now, good touch, trying to lead straight ahead, and the ball was a little bit too far, and it'll be cleared by Paul Christensen, who gets the start tonight in goal for Atlanta United 2.
And Atlanta United with unbelievable home support at Mercedes-Benz, and you just know that support is going to spill over to 2. Very close by, and for Atlanta too, with that great 3-1 start, they find themselves a factor in the East. Charlotte can't take this club lightly because they're averaging the same amount of goals as the Independents.
Ian Ekra, midfielder, been tremendous the first 2 games. Frenchman, very physical, box to box. Bilal Duckett now for Charlotte.
Apparently they jumped the gun a little bit on that one here in the 5th minute.
Here is Duckett. Duckett, one of the few guys, is actually from Atlanta, playing against his hometown team tonight, Atlanta United 2. Here's Joel Johnson now on the right flank. Looked like some contact. No whistle here to start.
A nice slide tackle by Bello that will give Christensen an opportunity to kick it down the pitch. And you see, just times it perfectly on this run. Got to the ball before Johnson fell to the turf.
Remember last year, at one point, about midway through the season, Charlotte was probably the hottest team in the entire league. And this is a team that has lost some firepower. No Enzo Martinez this year, as he was promoted to Colorado back in February. Colorado Rapids of the MLS, of course. And Cody Mizell, the goalie who had such a good year last year for Charlotte, also now with the Tampa Bay Rowdies. So they've lost some key parts, but still they look just as explosive as a season ago.
They just turned around and reloaded. Got off to another great start this season. Mizell gave up a goal earlier this afternoon to lose City. They got the 1-0 win to stay unbeaten on the season.
Atlanta now attacking. And here, once again, is Samuel. Samuel sends it back. And Atlanta very organized offensively here. Tremendous touch there. Taken away, though, as Cato now collects for Charlotte.
Atlanta doing a nice job of just going station to station, moving the ball down the pitch, and now Charlotte taking their turn to take their time. Before sending it down the right side.
Here's Cato now approaching the 18. Pulls it back out, and Johnson top the 18, lets it rip, and it'll be a corner kick, first of the match for Charlotte.
Yeah, Metcalf was not the intended target of that pass from Johnson, and does set up that corner. Charlotte doing, as they go short, Charlotte doing a good job of moving the ball down the pitch as well. This is kind of a frantic start to this match. A lot of side-to-side motion, very similar to a tennis match. And we will test the conditioning if this is the way that these two teams are going to decide to play tonight.
And there's so much curiosity, I think, throughout the league right now, Bruce, and just how good this Atlanta United 2 team is going to be. Atlanta United and the MLS has had such a splash since beginning play last year.
No, they've been a tremendous story on the pitch and off the pitch. You talk about record crowds right now. I think sitting with the top, maybe the top 2 crowds ever in MLS. And the city of Atlanta has just so embraced United. I mean, it is really something very special when Arthur Blank was awarded the franchise, and you look and see, okay, what is Atlanta really going to be like as a soccer town? And when the deposits were being taken and people were signing up, then the question was, okay, are they going to show up? And then they showed up at Bobby Dodd.
Did they ever?
And then they showed up at Mercedes-Benz, and they keep showing up. And you know, that was a place where they thought, hey.
Chick-fil-A corner kick coming up. Jorge Herrera doing the honors. All corner kicks tonight brought to you by Chick-fil-A. A little bit of a low line drive this time, and the Independents will have a second chance.
You know, the plan in Atlanta was just to have everybody in the lower bowl, but the demand has been so great that they've had to open up the upper bowl, and congratulations to Arthur Blank and his entire staff, and Darren doing an absolutely incredible job in Atlanta, and now with Atlanta too, and expecting, you know, similar success at Coolray.
Yeah, over 70,000 fans filled Mercedes-Benz Stadium back in September. One of only two teams now in a regular season game to get over 70,000 for an MLS contest. Atlanta United certainly have started with a huge bang. Here's Alex Martinez now for Charlotte, 1 versus 1. Header set up. This one deflected over to Herrera, and Jorge Herrera getting involved early for Charlotte. Another corner kick coming up.
Yeah, that one deflected away, but this pressure that Charlotte's bringing to this Atlanta defense right now. You see that flick on, and then Herrera gathers it, goes to take that shot. It's knocked away. And this one will swing away from Christensen.
Another Chick-fil-A corner kick. Herrera keeps it on the ground this time, sets up the shot just a little bit to the right. I mean, about 2 feet in that direction, and it was Ekra getting a piece that time.
Yeah, Ekra kept it on the ground, which was a smart thing to do because Christensen was going to have a hard time gathering that space and getting towards that near post. Just goes a little wide. Very interesting way to draw it up, but you know that Charlotte's been planning that corner kick for a while because that was not by accident. That was a well-orchestrated play, and Ekra will want that one back, and we'll probably see that type of corner again tonight.
Here's Atlanta now. Chris Goslin, another homegrown player. We have several of them suited up here tonight. Drew Felios alongside Bruce Silverman. Great to have you with us from the Sportsplex at Matthews. Joel Johnson now had the nice cross, and that was a tremendous opportunity right in the lap of Cordell Cato.
Yeah, Cato is going to want to have this one back because that is about as well played as you can get from Johnson. You see him right there, one touch, right into the middle, and he just kind of tried to step on it and got it inside that boot and just wasn't able to get the angle on it.
You did say, Bruce, you had a chance to take part early on and watch that Tampa Bay Louisville game. That's one of the premier games today in the USL, probably the premier game. How was it? Did it live up to the hype?
In a lot of ways it did. First half, very well played on both sides. Neither team was able to break through. Second half, wasn't a goal until Oscar Jimenez found the back of the net in the 69th minute. That was all the scoring for the day. Did it live up to the hype? It probably did, but it didn't from this sense. When you have two of the most explosive offenses in USL play to a 1-0 game, that's not what you expect.
Good point.
And that would be the same here. If we had a very low-scoring game between these two clubs, both averaging 3 goals a game, then that would be something that you would be surprised by. I mean, we're 13 minutes in, can't really tell you what's going to happen before we get to the 90-minute whistle. But you got to expect that there will be some goals to be scored.
On the ground is Alex Martinez. Martinez going down hard. It's a good point you made. Mike Jeffries Head coach of Charlotte said, no matter if you're winning or losing this time of year, every coach and players are experimenting a lot this time of the season. It is so early.
Well, and especially for this Charlotte club, I mean, you talked about it earlier. This is a very different lineup than they drew in 2017. So not only are they feeling out what their opponents are like, they're feeling out what they're like. And at this point in the season, it's almost more important for Charlotte to figure out who they are than to figure out who Atlanta is.
Back to work for Charlotte here in the 14th minute. Now out of the center circle, Chris Gosselin able to win that 50-50 ball. Gosselin now slowly building for Atlanta United 2. Atlanta started in the opening minutes with a couple good chances, but Charlotte has been able to turn the momentum, and a whistle there just outside the center circle, and Caleb Calvert going to get called for the foul as Kendall Mullen right now is shaken up.
Slow to get up, ball just outside the circle, so probably a little too far for striking distance in terms of this set piece, but you see how it breaks down right now. Looked a little bit closer than it did in a bang-bang situation, but the advantage for Atlanta right now. See what they decide to do with it. Looks like they might be leaning towards staying short, and they do.
Game plan tonight for Charlotte. Keep Atlanta under pressure for the entire 90. Christensen backpedaling now, and Atlanta will reset. Nearly intercepted that time, but Atlanta able to get it downfield.
Atlanta needs to be very careful on defense, those long distance passes. If you're gonna pass that long, you better make sure there's enough zip on it so that nobody can step in front of it, because if somebody steps in front of a pass like that, Paul Christensen is gonna have his hands full.
Bello able to win the ball now. Carranza and company resetting with Gosselin now. Gosselin lays the pass to Samuel in the corner. Pretty nice rhythm by Atlanta on this possession.
Yeah, you can see Samuel drifting all over that front part of the offense for Atlanta.
Waiting for their opportunity. Independence, though, well organized and able to get it back. Atlanta, one more try. So far, Scott Donnelly's got to love the hustle of his young team, and there's a good defensive play by the Independents.
Atlanta very well organized. Their passes, for the most part, have been right on target. Even when they lose it, they're not losing their composure. They're battling back. You saw that just a moment ago in the final third. Errant pass, but they got it right back. And now you see Samuel, like I said, all over this pitch, left, right, center.
Yeah, Samuel, very impressive. Born in Ethiopia, United States citizen. Played with Bethlehem Steel last year. And trying to make a difference with Atlanta United 2 here in 2018. Alex Martinez, the Uruguayan, usually sets the table, the attacking midfielder. Now for Charlotte. Goes down quickly. Charlotte will set things up.
Charlotte seems to be kind of taking whatever Atlanta wants to give them at this point. And if they want to keep that pressure, they need to avoid doing things like that. You can't send the ball past the touchline and give Atlanta an opportunity to regather on that side of the pitch. Although Atlanta, it always works out that way. As you're saying, exactly what Atlanta needs to do. They go all the way back to the keeper and reset from the back.
The biggest keys to Charlotte's success so far: crisp passing offensively, organized defensively, and counters just like this. Teeing it up at the top of the 18 and just wide to the right. So Charlotte continuing to apply the pressure. Christensen was moving laterally, and the shot was by Calvert that time.
And Atlanta making a very dangerous mistake in the middle of the pitch, and Calvert pulls that shot from about 20 out and just misses, but it does result in the corner.
Chick-fil-A corner kick. All corner kicks brought to you tonight by Chick-fil-A, and it's Jorge Herrera, the Colombian, master of his craft in his 20th season here in the USL. What a career he has had, and he's not done yet. The outswinger this time puts it in a pretty good spot, but it's headed out by Atlanta.
Yeah, it was well played. Got knocked away, but Charlotte's still on the ball as they send it through, and that will be one of the easier stops for Christensen. Atlanta just being very patient right now, looking for the space and staying on the ball.
Bello, nice touch and well designed by Atlanta. They can't keep this one alive, but I like the quick strike ability and the confidence that this team is showing out of the gates.
Love the one-touch passes, like the way that they're just bringing it down very coolly, very casually. That ball was a little heavy going towards the goal line. And really, I think it was a great pass. I think it was just, they couldn't determine which way they wanted to play on the right, which way they wanted to play on the left, and ultimately it goes past the line so the Dykstra can kick it away. Atlanta is really impressing the way that they are staying incredibly composed all the way down. Even when they make mistakes, they're not making two mistakes in a row. They'll make one, and then they'll recover from it.
Here in the 20th minute, scoreless so far. Charlotte building once again. Time and space on the left side. Served in and headed out.
A.J. Cochran.
Kevon George have not called his name very much here tonight, but he is ready to get back in the mix after serving his international duty with Trinidad and Tobago.
A veteran himself, normally a defender, actually playing a little bit in the midfield in this 4-2-3-1 formation, as Charlotte still on the ball and moving the ball right now at will until it's intercepted.
Charlotte continuing to apply pressure.
Atlanta handling it very well, and that's dangerous.
Atlanta able to stay with it. Goslin again will send it back. Just get the sense Atlanta waiting for that right opportunity to counter, and perhaps this is it. Oh, tremendous pass. And now Atlanta United can set up a shot. Just didn't get a good piece of it. Jose Carranza out of the North Carolina FC club, only 19 years old, a little off balance that time.
Yeah, Carranza, great individual effort to try to break free, but by the time he did, wasn't able to really get through that right foot, and one of the easier saves that Dykstra will have on the evening. It's almost the type of situation where you want to see Carranza, who does such a great job to keep it alive, wait for the numbers to come up and join them so that they can at least pull Dykstra one way or another and exploit it.
Have to mention, not on the field right now for Atlanta United too, John Gallagher, who has just been outstanding so far this year. 2 goals last week, one on a PK, the other on a header. The Irishman, former Notre Dame star, really one of the future stars of this organization.
Well, absolutely, and doing my homework on this game tonight, you look at an Irishman who went to Notre Dame.
It's perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. How can you? That's the way you draw up that recruiting trip. How would you like to play for the Fighting Irish? I already am.
Atlanta quickly now on the attack. Charlotte scrambling to get back from the right side. That's the guy they want. Joseph Samuel the shot, and Dykstra there for the denial.
Yeah. How about Samuel? I mean, just the composure that he had. Dykstra with the big punch save But you see the way they just move the ball station to station, just inside the box, steps into it, and lets loose. Dicer with a very nice stretch save. Corner coming up.
Chick-fil-A corner kick coming up for Atlanta. Atlanta had a couple corners to start this game, but have been a little bit cold since then. This one put nice and high, trying to set up A.J. Cochran, who got airborne.
Another nice corner. Both of these teams enjoying a great pitch here, and that ball is cleared away. Just go past the touch line for a throw and not a corner. Field conditions are outstanding, 65 degrees at the kick. No more shadows on the pitch. This is the way that soccer was intended to be played.
Sportsplex at Matthews, just a very cozy venue. Seats a little bit over 2,000. The Independents began play here last summer, about midway through the year. And remember, they started play last year at the Ramblewood Soccer Complex. And Bruce, they've got a new stadium eventually in the works, as renovation will eventually take place on Memorial Stadium. An 82-year-old venue, but they are certainly going to spruce it up for Charlotte, a team that certainly deserves a first-class venue.
And I love those cozy old buildings. I mean, and North Carolina is full of them for a number of different sports. Baseball stadium that the Tourists play in Asheville is actually older than Fenway Park, with the big monster in right instead of left. And some of these old buildings really do need to be refurbished and find new tenants. And Charlotte certainly on the pitch, giving the fans in Charlotte something to be very proud of.
Christensen will pick it up for Atlanta United 2. And on the ground right now, a little slow to get up, Miles Robinson, former Syracuse star.
And everything will slow down a little bit, and probably good for both clubs is the level of play through 26 minutes has been at a very high energy. Weather is perfect, so the heat's really not going to be a factor. Get back to me in about 2 months. You know, a 7 p.m. kickoff in Charlotte in June and July is going to be very different than the last day of March here. But right now, both of these clubs enjoying perfect weather, and the weather in Charlotte very similar to the weather in Atlanta. So the weather not really a factor or an advantage for either club.
How about the slate of games today, too, around the USL? One of the best days in the history of the league. 16 matchups all day long. Soccer coming at you till late into the night. And teams out west kick off as well. Charlotte going to town now with Alex Martinez. See the double team slowly creep up on him. Kendall Moulin leading the charge defensively there.
Nice station to station, one-touch passes to get it into the 18. A little give and go.
Perfect 1-2. Christensen, though, there to send it back. Good idea, though, for the home team.
Little tense moments for Atlanta as Christensen was unable to handle it, but it's knocked out of play by his defense. But Charlotte still deep.
Charlotte has had very good chances about the past 10 minutes.
The pendulum has swung a little bit in Charlotte's direction, and they have been the aggressors after being on their heels a little bit at the beginning of the match. But Atlanta, great counters like this one.
Oh, this one set up beautifully. Bello racing ahead of everybody. He gets the shot off and scores.
That one just kind of dribbles in at the end of the play, but it does put Atlanta up 1-0 in the 28th minute.
George Bello, homegrown out of Douglasville, Georgia, delivers for his team, and it happened in a flash.
And just as I start talking about the counters, there's that left fullback on the counter, and great finishing. And he had options because Samuel was running with him on his right. And so a team that has scored 3 goals in their opening match just put 1 on top of a team that has scored 6 against 1. And now Charlotte is going to play from behind 29 minutes into this match.
So Atlanta United 2. It's the first goal in this rivalry. Regular season, of course. Remember, these two teams did play in the preseason, but Atlanta is sort of coming here, set a nice tone early, and the speed along that front line has really been the difference. Now Joel Johnson.
And what's interesting is, Drew, just a moment ago, you talked about how composed Charlotte had been and how they've been moving the ball at will. Then we started talking about how nicely Atlanta has operated on the counter, and that counter led by Bello, and he gets the goal.
Shot taken, this one just a little bit high. Charlotte had a lot of space inside the 18 and a good chance to equalize there.
Not only did they have the speed, they also had the numbers. You see that layoff, the shot, and it just sails above for Calvert. But what was interesting about that is Calvert had all kinds of options. He had quite a bit of blue jerseys to his right. And they're still on the ball.
I think it is safe to say Charlotte has been just a little bit taken back by the speed of that front line for Atlanta. They knew what they were dealing with tonight, but still sometimes until you see it, until you play against it, it's definitely a little difficult to adjust.
Not only has the speed been impressive, but the composure. And we talked about it a few minutes ago. They make a mistake, they don't make 2 mistakes in a row. And then on the counter, you see that speed. And for that attack to come from the left side, from the left fullback, and for Bello to finish on that, you don't see that very often.
George Bello with a goal in the 28th minute. Drew Felios with Bruce Silverman here, the Matthews Sportsplex, just southeast of Charlotte. The 3rd regular season game for the Independents. For Atlanta, it's their 2nd of the regular season. This would be a huge 3 points for Atlanta United too if they could somehow get the result here tonight.
Yeah, and for Bello, you got a homegrown talent out of Lawrenceville, not too far from not only Mercedes-Benz, but also from Cool Ray.
You know, always love it. You see teams, Bruce, kind of load up on guys that have been around the league or even guys that have been, designated or what have you, but always seems like those big goals, the homegrown talents come through. Always love to see that.
Well, not only that, it's that success story when you got the neighborhood kid as a card is handed out. And Alex Martinez is going to find himself in the book in the 32nd minute. Going back to Bello, I mean, just great story. Young kid. You know how old he is? You want to do the math on that?
Tell me.
Okay. He's 16 years old.
Wow.
5'6", 160. 16 years old, and he has himself his first career goal.
George Bello going to be something special for sure, and he already is. Atlanta going to work again. And you can just sense the way they are being marked right now. Charlotte certainly has respect for these youngsters. Here's Cordell Cato, though, trying to counter for the Jacks. Charlotte trying to avoid the offsides. Nice pass, and the finish looked like it was there. It needed a quick strike. Instead, the hesitation cost the run.
Yeah, I think that was a story of not one-timing. And when I say that, not timing one time, twice. So here coming up is a one-timer, and then that should have been a one-timer. He tried to gather it in and ended up losing it off of that right foot. If he had just one-timed it, it would have been very, very difficult for Christensen to make that save. And in trying to gather it up, not only did he lose the handle, but also gave Christensen an opportunity to gather himself.
Well, so far the opportunities have been there for the Independents. Not been able to take advantage, though, thus far, and they trail 1-0. Sam Vines has not really been a factor so far in this match. He handles now for the Independents. Vines only 18 years old, on loan from the Rapids.
And here's the counter for Atlanta once again, waiting for numbers that time.
Goslin sends it out right. Atlanta slowly attacking once more. Now inside the 18, but didn't have the angle.
Yeah, and that's one where you go back and you watch the film. Instead of going towards the line, should have played it outside of the box and been able to regroup and work the ball into the middle. Instead, tried to force it towards the line. You get cut off on the angle, you lose the handle, and now Charlotte has the ball.
Charlotte trying to counter quickly. Again, a foot race this time. Contact just outside the 18, and we play on as Cordell Cato was on his horse.
And I think the home fans weren't particularly happy with Daniel Gutierrez, who let play continue on that one. I think they wanted a set piece just outside the area.
So far, a goal by an athlete just old enough to get his driver's license.
Not even old enough to get to an R-rated movie.
Johnston now sends it out.
The rest of the team is going to go see Deadpool 2 in a couple of weeks, and he's going to have to stay back at the hotel.
There you go. Johnson, good touch. Ekra now, good spot, some space to work with. Deflected out.
Too long to get that shot off, gave the defense an opportunity to get their footing. Charlotte's still on the ball.
Independents continue to work it, really controlling the time of possession throughout most of this match.
But that becomes a very misleading statistics, especially when you're down by a goal. I mean, you can have the ball 70, 80% of the time, but if you're down 1-0, you know, it's just something you can hang your hat on, but it's not going to get you 3 points.
Here's Bilal Duckett, young man out of Peachtree City, Georgia.
Wearing the captain's badge this evening.
Johnson sends it in. Now Charlotte, shot and a goal! Top of the 18, it's Herrera ringing one up, and we're equalized at 1.
There is a great example of Charlotte being patient, letting things unfold in front of them, and Herrera ultimately finds the back of the net.
The ageless wonder, Jorge Herrera, with his second goal on the season.
And he picks up the loose ball and just turns on it, goes far post. There's nothing that Christensen can do from 18 yards out. And for good measure, he'll go and he'll pick up the ball. In baseball, I guess you would keep that, but in soccer they don't let you keep the ball.
Well, the crowd loves Jorge Herrera here in Charlotte. He is defying father time right now. You know, Bruce, I asked Coach Jeffries earlier this week, what makes this guy tick? He says, his conditioning, the way he takes care of his body, unlike anything I have ever seen, and that is why he continues to be so good, so effective here in his 20th USL season.
Well, the other thing that makes him very special is the fact that if you've got a guy at that age that is in such great shape, he's a role model for all the younger guys. Because the last thing you want to do at practice is get beat by the old guy.
He played for this team when they were the Charlotte Eagles. Thrilled to be a part of the Independents Herrera making his presence felt as Dykstra picks it up. As we near the end of this first half, we've seen a goal now from both sides.
Yeah, and that it shows the maturity of this Charlotte club as that ball is going to be sent over the net from distance. Charlotte in a position where they find themselves down a goal early, and they never looked like they were down. And when you are a club and you're playing at home and you get down a goal early, you can go a couple of different ways. And it seemed that they gave up that goal, but they never played like they were behind. And now you got another counter coming up for Charlotte here as they feed into the middle again.
Trying to set up that 1-2. And it was cut off very last moment. Atlanta United 2 able to dodge a bullet there. Kunga now sending it downfield. The quick counters have kept Charlotte on alert all night long. Bilal Duckett now collecting.
Both teams doing a great job on the counter. And right now, the pace of play, which was very frantic to start the match, slowed down at around the 20-minute mark. Now 20 minutes later, we're frantic again. Which might be the way that Herrera wants to play.
So far, though, this has been a very enjoyable match to watch. Here's Johnson. And now Charlotte slowly attacking with Calvert. Blast just a little bit to the left. Timing for Caleb Calvert just has not quite been there tonight. He's a spectacular finisher as well. Just hasn't had that right moment.
It seemed like he just waited too long to pull the trigger on that shot. He kept playing it to the left foot, playing to the left foot, and then finally let it fly. But it does earn them a corner.
Chick-fil-A corner kick coming up for Charlotte. Here in the 41st minute. Drew Felios, Bruce Silverman. So happy to have you with us tonight. 2 goals we've seen, one by George Bello, the 16-year-old for Atlanta United 2, and Jorge Herrera with the answer in the 36th minute for Charlotte. Here's Jung-Soo Lee of South Korea. Johnson will send it to the other side.
Here's Charlotte just looking for the space that Atlanta is giving them right now, just outside the 18. But Atlanta doing a good job of bend, don't break, unable to clear.
And now Atlanta able to get possession back. Goslin. Seems like Atlanta United 2, their possessions have been very quick in a flash. Meanwhile, for Charlotte, a little bit of the opposite here, especially in the last 30 minutes.
Able to gather the ball, and even when they feel the pressure, they don't really give it up that much. There's a perfect example, pressure coming from behind. They send it backwards, and now Atlanta will rebuild from the back as they'll cross the line.
Far side down, Carranza. Kendall Moulin played for San Antonio FC in 2017. Here's Bello now. George Bello finding the open targets. Kunga now with it. Tell you what, for a 16-year-old, he is very composed with the ball. Does not panic whatsoever.
Well, Atlanta right now, this has been a long possession for them as they're looking for that space. They're finding the space everywhere. They just haven't been able to turn until now.
Open space and an open player. It's Kunga! Left-footed shot just to the left, and he had Charlotte on their heels.
Yeah, Kunga, if he pulls the trigger on this shot a little bit sooner, I think he's got an open net opportunity. He was working it to that left foot, earns a corner, and we'll see it here. Just perfect pass, and then Kunga he waited a little too long, pulled up the defense. There was Johnson to get in his way, but we've got another corner.
Johnson getting there just in time. And now time for our Chick-fil-A corner. Atlanta able to go short with it. So after the longest possession of the match for Atlanta United 2, player down for the Independents, it's Kevon George.
And what impressed me right before that whistle was the ball that Bello played into the box after that corner. Just another well-played ball. As this game goes on, just the amount of things that Bello is doing that are impressing me is growing.
Carranza very active now for Atlanta United 2. Midfielder, only 19 years old. So many teenagers, seems like, on the pitch tonight for Atlanta. And now a bit of a wrestling match as Ekra was trying to get it back. Stays with Atlanta though.
And Atlanta very wisely starting up the play. Samuel went down towards the 18 with the ball. Teammate was going in the other direction, but you got to be impressed that Atlanta's playing without fear. And sometimes when you're a young club and you're an inexperienced club, you would expect that there would be a little bit more respect handed, or at least shown to a Charlotte club that is going into this match, scored 6 goals and only given up 1. But I don't think that Atlanta, and I'll say it in the best of ways, I don't think Atlanta respects Charlotte in the sense that they're not holding back like we can't play with these guys.
Yeah, certainly unleashing everything they've got here in the first 45. Going to have about a minute of stoppage time. And Atlanta, for them, in their quick strike offense, that is plenty of time to get something off. And another Chick-fil-A corner kick coming up here.
We got 1 minute of stoppage time for your viewing pleasure. And how about Bello once again? Angle was cut off, but he made sure that there would be another corner coming up, as that ball, when he went to put the shot on goal, knew it was going to ricochet away and earn his club another opportunity. You see Bello is short. We'll see what Atlanta decides to do halfway through this added minute.
This one high and long, headed up in the air. Dykstra goes and gets it for the Independents.
Looks like Charlotte's going to have one more opportunity to run down this pitch and put one more on the board before they go to the dressing room.
Alex Martinez able to switch it over to that left flank. Can they get a service in here with limited time on the clock? Ball will be sent out, and a corner kick coming up for Herrera.
Nice ball movement by Charlotte to put pressure on Atlanta.
Corner kicks tonight brought to you by Chick-fil-A, and this is likely the final one here of this first half. Herrera's in swing. Oh, again, looked like they had the ball where they wanted it. Just did not have the finish. And that happened with many chances for Charlotte and Caleb Calvert throughout the first half, but a very entertaining half of soccer.
I'm surprised that we don't have about 15 minutes left. This thing went so quickly. 1-1 at the end of 45 plus 1, and Calvert is going to go into the locker room and apologize to Jorge Herrera for not burying that amazing corner.
One apiece, Charlotte and Atlanta United 2, here on a Saturday night in the USL. Halftime festivities coming up. Just an absolutely perfect Saturday night for soccer in the Charlotte, North Carolina area. Matthews, North Carolina to be exact. Drew Felios and Bruce Silverman bringing you Charlotte Independence and Atlanta United 2 soccer. Brand new rivalry in the USL. In the first 45 minutes certainly did not disappoint. Both teams having their moments. In the opening minutes was really surprised at how aggressive, how confident Atlanta United 2 was. Charlotte also having their chances, and off the corner kick, this one sent just a little bit wide by Ekra.
Yeah, you gotta like the way Charlotte draws up their corners and the ball movement that they have, the chances that they've had throughout the first half. Yeah, they got one later on in the first half, but you see this run of play where they've gotten the ball into the middle, which is what really has impressed me, is they have had their opportunities, and so has Atlanta.
Yeah, this was Joseph Samuel, his best chance of the match thus far, and a good job by Andrew Dykstra on the save.
Yeah, Atlanta has really impressed me with their composure, with their ball movement. Here they are on the counter, and that one just dribbles through as the 16-year-old gets his first ever goal.
George Bello, 28th minute, homegrown player out of Douglasville, Georgia, gets Atlanta United 2 on the board. You think he's excited and his teammates are happy for him, but how about Charlotte coming right back from a 16-year-old to a 38-year-old?
The ageless wonder of the USL. Jorge Herrera turns right foot back at an net.
That's a 22-year difference. Herrera and Bello doing their thing. Match stats thus far. Look at the shots. Charlotte pretty much controlling play, but Atlanta United 2 not to be denied.
No, I mean 68% to 32%, but here's the thing. Atlanta's so efficient with their 32%. Yeah, Charlotte's going to pass the ball around. They're going to possess it more, but at the end of the day, a 1-1, 45 plus 1, Atlanta will take that every day and twice on Saturday. The only stat that ever really matters is the goals. That's one apiece. The thing that Charlotte can take advantage of with that possession gave them twice as many shots, and when you take more shots, more good things can happen. For Charlotte, I'm going into the dressing room. I'm saying continue to take rips on Atlanta. Let's continue to take our shots. Things are going to go our way. If you're Atlanta, you're going in the locker room and you're saying, I like the way we play. Let's come out. Let's keep our composure. Let's take our chances and put it in the back of the net. Let's get out of Charlotte with at least a point. But if you're Atlanta, you're playing well enough to know that you can get out of here against the first-place team with 3 points.
It's the experience and talent of Charlotte against the youth and exuberance of Atlanta United 2.
I think you're expressing us.
Been a fun matchup so far, Bruce, and we got more to come in a moment.
Thank you very much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
So, Jake, the expansion this year has brought a large group of new owners to the USL to complement this already very strong base of ownership that we've seen that's really led to the success of the league. Talk about the USL ownership group and what these new folks are bringing.
Many of our owners, I'd say the vast majority of our owners now, have owned and operated sports organizations in multiple different leagues and bring with them a real understanding of the economics of sport, what's required in terms of an investment level in the facilities, in the community, in all the different programs that our teams run. So for me, it's a privilege to get to work with all of these very experienced businessmen and women on a daily basis, and I'm just constantly thrilled by the commitment and investment they have into their local communities and ultimately into our sport. The new owners that are joining our league now are coming in every year with bigger ambitions. For us, we continue to drive value from a business point of view. The model continues to attract more and more sophisticated owners into the league, and that's something that we believe will have such a positive impact on the future of this league and the new initiatives that we want to embark upon.
Last year we surpassed 2 million in attendance. Talk about what your expectations are for this season and in terms of attendance at live games and just overall awareness of the league.
Yeah, our fans are the lifeblood of this league, as they are for every league. We've seen the support for our clubs grow exponentially. We're already significantly ahead of where we were this time last year on average per club for season tickets. I think it speaks to the excitement. It speaks to what's happening in the local communities. It speaks to the all of the things we're trying to do. Building new stadiums, creating more exciting, authentic environments. Attracting better players, having a more competitive and compelling league. I think it's, at least for the league office here, a substantial investment in content production and infrastructure around the broadcast, around the digital and social. And so we take great pride in growing that area of the business and engaging with the fans from a team point of view and a league point of view.
And if the first 3 weeks are any indication, it is going to be one heck of a 2018. We are tied at 1, Charlotte and Atlanta United 2, here from the Matthews Sportsplex. Bruce, let's take a look at some of the news and notes, also from around the league. So much happening in the USL, and the attendance continues to soar. Look at the amount of games here today.
Yeah, 15 games on the day, and great action all over the USL. You look at Wednesday, you got Orange County and Fresno both getting a 1-0 win on the road. Western scoring versus the Eastern defense. Just great matches all the way around. And we've had a catbird seat on a lot of these great matches. Lou City continues the defense of their league title, getting another win today, now 3 in a row for them. And you've got Charlotte right behind them, and Atlanta is in contention as well. If they continue to play the way they have through 45+1, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. Obviously, the USL season is a marathon. It is not a sprint. And, a team like Charlotte knows that very, very well, as they had a very hot start a year ago and then cooled off a little bit. You need to be able to pace yourself. You need to have the depth. You need to have the conditioning. You need to have a little luck as you go along the way. But right now, a great start for these teams tonight. The league itself, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have 45 more minutes of action here from Matthews. So, hey, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Charlotte and Atlanta coming up next, 1-1 after 45+1.
Sportsplex at Matthews. And a 1-1 game. Charlotte Independence taking on Atlanta United 2. Drew Felios with Bruce Silverman. Hope you are enjoying it thus far. The upcoming schedule for Atlanta United 2. Going to get really interesting in the month of April. Got a date with Louisville City looming.
Yeah, but before you get there, look at that date against Penn. Penn is going to be a very interesting club. Youth and experience. Tommy Heineman just signed with them. Raul Voss in his rookie season as manager. You got Lou City. Then you've got Charleston. You go up to Pittsburgh. And at Cincinnati, that is a tough 5-game stretch.
Yeah, FC Cincinnati, always tough to deal with. Charleston also playing with a bit of a chip on their shoulder early this season. And for Charlotte, you got the date at Nashville. Then you got your rivals, North Carolina FC.
Yeah, so that's going to be a great interstate rivalry. And then you've got Indy, Charleston, and Cincinnati as well for the Independents. Another tough 5-game stretch for them. These 5 games for both of these clubs are going to really define what this season is going to be like for them.
Take a look at the standings in the Eastern Conference, brought to you by Wells Fargo. The Charlotte Independents right now just right there, deadlocked with the Tampa Bay Rowdies. And the Rowdies with their first setback here earlier today.
Yeah, and they lost to Lou City on a goal late in the game, so both of those teams at 6 apiece. Here's the interesting thing. Atlanta United right now sitting with 3 points. Opportunity to get up to 6 points as well with a win tonight.
Next match coming up at Nashville SC. That is April 7th, 8:30 p.m. as we already move into the month of April. Bruce, happy Easter.
Happy Passover to you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
So we've got after 45 plus 1 in Bello, the 16-year-old who gets the goal, the homegrown talent just outside of Atlanta, looking to do some damage again in the second half. Should be an entertaining second half of play. What I really liked about both of these clubs in the first half is the quality of play out of both clubs. 68% of the time the ball was at the feet of Charlotte, and they were very effective in what they did with the ball. Atlanta didn't have the ball as much as Charlotte did, but they were extremely effective, especially on the counter. The youth versus experience, and I guess the youth was okay with the older guys having the ball as much as they did, especially because Bello made them pay for it very early on in that first half.
Underway in the second half. Charlotte wearing the all blue, Atlanta in the red tops here tonight. Atlanta scoring first in the 28th minute by George Bello. Jorge Herrera answering in the 36th minute.
Now that we've switched sides and we're under the lights, weather is going to cool off just a little bit, but at the end of the day, this is the type of weather that both clubs know very, very well. Separated by 245 miles and playing basically on the same interstate, I-85. But you talk about Charlotte and Atlanta, and this is a rivalry being born. But over the years, we've seen the Hornets, the Bobcats, and the Hawks. We've seen the Falcons and the Panthers. And now for these two clubs to do it on a soccer pitch, this is going to be a lot of fun as the year progresses, especially if the quality of play between these two clubs continues to be the way that it is. Charlotte's going to get out of this match. Atlanta's going to get out of this match. They're going to go on their merry ways. But if both teams continue to collect points, we're going to see them grouped up so that the next time they meet at Coolray, it's going to be another match with significant meaning out of that result.
Sam Vines, an early touch for Charlotte. Have not seen a lot from number 31, Vines, so far in this match. Let's see if he gets a little bit more involved here in the second half, as we got Herrera now down on the field. He is very tightly marked and may have taken one to the jaw there as he went down.
He was looking for blood, no blood drawn. You talk about those left fullbacks. You got Vines and Bello. Okay. Now I'm doing this without a calculator, so you might have to check my work. 34 years old between Vines and Bello. That does not equal Herrera.
It's pretty awesome. Yeah, Bello could easily be Herrera's son. How about that thought? Now Charlotte trying to get the cross in. Defense there is saw Jack Metcalf getting up for Atlanta United 2, and it's going to be the first corner kick of the second half. The Chick-fil-A corner kick for the Independents.
Yeah, Bello and Vines, either one of them could be Herrera's son.
Alex Martinez will stay with Herrera. Herrera trying to shake off the cobwebs right now for Charlotte. Herrera, good service there. Ball still playable. No, whistle now inside the box.
Yeah, driven into the box and punched away before the whistle stopped play. And the frantic pace of play starting up in the second half, very similar to what we saw in the first half. This is entertaining football from whistle to whistle. You got to wonder, as this game progresses, can both of these teams keep up the pace?
Soo Lee out of South Korea. Now Charlotte working across the touchline. Here's Herrera again. Herrera just is an engine right now. Ford out of Colombia. Here's Cordell Cato. This one a little bit long. Cato has been a little bit frustrated by the way he has been marked so far in this match.
Yeah, and credit to Atlanta for the pressure on Cato for that turnover. Because without that type of pressure, that pass is not long, and this throw-in by Atlanta is not taking place.
Sent back to Christensen. So Charlotte kind of lurking as that ball made its way back to the goal.
But it might have been a little too casual in that play, especially right in front of goal.
How many times do we see mistakes like that, Bruce, really cost a team, especially in key moments of the match?
Those are the moments that make managers gray at the temples.
Just get the feeling the second half is going to be a little bit more physical than the first.
I think it's going to be a little bit more wide open. Both of these teams know that they can strike. They've had opportunities. Charlotte has had better opportunities, but really unable to take care of the opportunities they've had. Atlanta has been a little bit more stingy in terms of trying to turn on Dijkstra.
Here's Joseph Samuel sending it to the left side now. And a little flick that time. It's going to bring Dijkstra up outside the 6 to get his hands on it.
Yeah, that was a cheeky little pass into the box, and Dijkstra needed to go over and gather it quickly. Otherwise, that could have been very, very dangerous.
Sam Vines. Robinson sends it back to Christensen.
Yeah, Atlanta flirting with disaster back there inside the box, and if they don't get away from a little bit of that carelessness, it's going to cost them.
Atlanta United 2 did not have many long possessions in the first half. They had one towards the end of the half, but Bruce, do they need to establish a little bit more control of the ball, or do you think it's just a matter of making the most of the quality of chances like they are right now? Here's Kunga on the run. Nice little pass to the left side. And taken down inside the box. Do we get a whistle? No, we don't. We play on.
Yeah, and it's a shame that Kunga didn't really feel the presence of Gosselin behind him, because he ran into that brick wall of the double team. If he had back-heeled it, it could have been a lot of fun. It would have been certainly a highlight opportunity. But I guess that's the youth not having enough experience to have the eyes in the back of the head. But then there's a veteran making a mistake like that in a very costly area of the pitch.
Metcalf throws it in. Atlanta United 2 will work now. That was Chris Goslin. Here is Bello.
You're bringing up the point, does Atlanta need to possess the ball and have a long possession? In terms of the way that they play, no. In terms of just keeping Charlotte honest and showing them, hey, we can play the way you can play, the answer is yes. And I think it's one of those situations where they don't have to do it simply because they think it's going to turn into a goal. Is Kunga's trying to work in between two guys? That's just not going to happen. Yeah, you're gonna pick up a set piece, but you're not going to be able to get through a wall like that. But the fact that Atlanta can do that tells Charlotte, hey, we can play any way that you force us to play. We can handle anything you can dish out. Two-man wall.
Jack Metcalf to give it a blast. Atlanta able to keep possession. Can they get one more shot on goal here? Chris Goslin now to set things up. We'll give this one a ride. And Atlanta United 2 near the 6th that time. And Charlotte once again scrambling a little bit to get back.
Great composure by Atlanta to stay on the ball on that set piece. Got knocked away, stayed on it, worked it into the 18, earned themselves a corner.
Another Chick-fil-A corner kick coming up here.
Nice in-swinger, and Atlanta whistle stops that opportunity. But you gotta like what Atlanta's doing inside the box and the way that they're putting pressure. And right now, we're 10 minutes into the second half, and it seems like we've spent the majority of our time right in front of Dykstra.
Atlanta has been able to possess the ball, though, here in the second half. And now it's Jan Ekra, outstanding in the first 2 games for Charlotte. Pez will send it back. Now Atlanta to take advantage of sort of a careless pass. Kunga again.
And Kunga with a careless pass of his own, and here comes Charlotte on the counter.
Johnson. Help comes up. And we have throw-in on the far side.
A.J. Cochran.
Cato trying to catch the defense napping. Trying to do sort of a quick hit that time. A little bit too far.
Now Atlanta with an opportunity to move it quickly, and that's a little too heavy for Samuel.
So far, this match has been about the young and the old. Bello for Atlanta United 2 and Herrera for Charlotte.
Yeah, we got the rocking chair on one side and the crib on the other.
Independence with George sending it back. Sam Vines trying to become more of a factor. While Duckett as well along that back line. Johnson, another throw-in coming up.
And who else but Bello, who steps in front and knocks it away.
How do you feel, Bruce, just about the concept?
I feel great, thank you very much.
Well, let me finish my question here, my friend.
Uh-oh.
The concept of a 16-year-old playing professional soccer. As later on tonight, we're going to see one of the prodigies Formerly in United States Soccer, Freddie Adu, he'll suit up for Las Vegas Lights FC. And the point I'm making is sometimes these young men come out to play this great sport and the expectations are just through the roof.
Well, I think, and I hope for Bello that his development does not take the same path that Freddie Adu did. And I think what may help Bello in this situation is the position.
Sure.
You know, so much was expected of Freddie Adu at 14 years old, signing with DC United, being, you know, the American Pele, and you know, what he was going to do on the American scene, what he was going to do for MLS, and his journey has been filled with a lot of logos. If Freddie Adu ever plays an old-timers game, if you remember, and I'm going to date myself, as we talk about the old and the young, as we look at Herrera, when Gaylord Perry would play in old-timers games, and he would wear jerseys of every logo that he ever pitched for. It was like half the teams in the major leagues, including, I think, a couple that no longer exist. I think Gaylord Perry actually pitched for the New York Hilltoppers. No, in all seriousness, you know, Freddie Adu is unfortunately a cautionary tale in a lot of ways. In the way that you bring about players. I joked a few minutes ago that if the club went to see Deadpool 2, George Bello wouldn't be able to get in unless they snuck him in. And you know, his development, especially at this level with this Atlanta 2 club, can be very special, because he is a special player and he doesn't have to be rushed along, and nobody's hung this future of American soccer over his shoulders.
Big difference.
And I think that is the big difference in the way that he can work on his craft and work on his skills. And look at that, the way he's able to keep the ball in on the touchline, and unfortunately unable to keep it from being a goal kick for Dykstra. But at the end of the day, the youth are being served very well tonight. You know, at first we were talking about Sam Vines, and he's 18 years old, and he's working that left fullback position right there for Charlotte. But the game that Bello has had, so incredibly impressive, and you wonder, you know, at what point is the whistle is going to give a great advantage to Atlanta here from Kevon George, the veteran, in Gosselin will hold that shoulder a little bit, and it will smart, and yellow card in the 61st minute for Kevon George. So the USL newcomer is in the book right there.
Well, you mentioned that scenario, though, with Adu and players, young guys like George Bello. I think the system has learned from it. I think everybody in the world of soccer has learned from it. I think the American game now is so much more organized now, and I think everybody learns from situations like that, not just in soccer, too, in all sports. Tennis is another one.
Well, absolutely, but another difference of 2018 versus 2008 or
yep.
You know, 2004, which is, or even earlier, is there's a place like Atlanta too for Bello to come up. Dykstra pulling it out of the air. This would have been a scenario that would have benefited Freddie Adu.
Absolutely. Instead, suiting up for the U.S. men's national team at age 16, signing with DC United at age 14. Just incredible.
And basically playing all over the world now. You know, we talked about Tampa Bay playing earlier, and Freddie Adu having time in Tampa Bay and having time overseas, a number of different clubs in MLS and now in Las Vegas. And hopefully for Freddie, the lights of Las Vegas will treat him well.
One apiece. Charlotte taking on Atlanta United 2. Drew Felios with Bruce Silverman. Hope you're enjoying it. Couple goals in the first half. One from George Bello of Atlanta United 2, and the second from Jorge Herrera, his second on the season. Not many quality chances, though, so far in the second half. Not many nearly as we had in the first 45.
No, but the pace of play has not slowed down at all.
Sure.
I mean, we're 2/3 of the way through this match, and both of these teams are charging just as hard after 60 minutes as they did after the opening whistle. You got to figure, at what point does the advantage swing a little bit? You know, which team is better conditioned? Is it the experience of Charlotte? Is it the youth and the fresher legs of Atlanta? I mean, right there, look at that battle.
Atlanta, top of the 18 with a blast. Oh, another good opportunity for Atlanta United 2, and it came off a careless mistake from Charlotte that time, deep in the zone. Oliver Shannon in position.
Yeah, and Shannon, if he goes back and you watches this again, he's going to realize, I should have left the 9-iron at home, brought the 3-wood, because he got under that ball, and there was no reason for it. There wasn't enough pressure on him to try to chip the keeper. All he needed to do was drive it home, got under it, and on a grass turf like this, there was no reason for that.
Cato now. Charlotte wanted to play a little bit more up-tempo. Ekra is open, they'll get it to him. Here comes the defense, though, and now the Independents will take a step back. Sam Vines working, crosses to the left side, and now it is Calvert. The ball snuck through as Cato was trying to post up atop the 18.
And Cato just let it go through the 5-hole and just went right through. Nobody there to collect it. As you look at Martinez, what's interesting is goal opportunity on one side, you blink and the ball's already on the other side. And you know, it made reference earlier, this is definitely like a tennis match, because you literally just find yourself going side to side. There is not a lot of activity basically in the last 65 minutes in the middle of this pitch. It's either at one end or the other. This is about as long as it will stay as that ball is sent forward for Samuel.
Joseph Samuel calmly sends it back. Bello gets a touch. And now George very intelligently resetting for Atlanta United 2. Turning is Carranza. And George comes up to win it for Charlotte. Kevon George, good play. Just get the sense Charlotte has been a little bit frustrated offensively here over the past few minutes. Sam Vines and company trying to correct that.
Well, I think Charlotte has gotten to the point where they've gotten away from their game plan a little bit. You know, earlier in this match, we talked about in the first half, 68% of the time they had the ball at their feet. I'd say it's a lot closer to 50-50 right now. And that possession-oriented offense benefited Charlotte. And they've gotten away from it. They're almost playing Atlanta's game right now.
You can certainly see it. Ekra. Defense very organized for Atlanta United 2. Alex Martinez now, the Uruguayan, trying to set the table. Gets through on a 1-versus-1, but cut off right near the 6.
Yeah, Martinez is crafty enough that he can find his way through, but just ran out of real estate before he was able to get the shot off. And this is going to be a throw, not a corner, but can treat it as such.
Martinez, good pass. Ekra trying to do something with it. Nifty footwork, and the shot goes off the back of Metcalf for a corner kick.
Yeah, so the former member of this Charlotte Independence club will give his former teammates an opportunity to get that Chick-fil-A corner we were talking about.
Corner kick tonight brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Tell you what, all these Chick-fil-A references, I'm starting to get really hungry, big time. Swing now. Goalie comes out, out of position at the moment. Charlotte not able to gather it and set it up.
Yeah, that's a mistake that Kevon George will not make twice in a match. Herrera has been outstanding on his corners this year.
I know we got a lot of soccer left to play, Bruce, but Charlotte's going to go back and look at this tape tonight. Another corner kick brought to you by Chick-fil-A. And they're going to see a lot of little things that added up to one big thing. Outside the 18 now, Martinez gives it a blast, deflected, and sent out. One more shot for the Independents, and it sails over everybody off another deflection.
And this one will result in another corner. Martinez with an opportunity to one-time it a moment ago and didn't take advantage of it. Gathered it at his right foot before he tried to take the shot. Sometimes you need to just let it fly, because it doesn't give an opportunity for the defense to get themselves set.
Ekra sends it far and wide. Down on the ground is Christensen. The rebound gets sent out, and Atlanta United 2 able to clear.
Christensen does a good job of getting his body in front of the ball, but he doesn't get his arms wrapped around it. The ball ricocheting away, and for Atlanta, very lucky that that rebound didn't find the back of the net. The ball actually finds its way all the way back to Dykstra before Charlotte comes back up. Now Charlotte starting to possess the ball for longer periods of time. But they don't have anything to show for it in the second half.
Looking a little bit more comfortable now. Cato with a touch. Send this one a little long, and you hear let it go, as it's going to be a goal kick coming up for Atlanta United 2.
Yeah, Atlanta has been very reactionary in the last few minutes. I mean, the pace is completely driven by Charlotte. Charlotte just trying to run the ball down Atlanta's throat. And Atlanta giving up balls like that is not going to help them.
You know, it was a matter of time. Ball still alive. Contact made. Calvert on the ground. And Herrera there to tend to his teammate.
Tense moments there. And a lot of people in this building would like Mr. Gutierrez to be pointing at the spot. That's not going to happen. But you never like seeing a player go down at any point on the pitch.
So Paul Christensen hanging in there for Atlanta United 2. Former University of Portland star. And here's one more look at the play, and there was the contact right there.
Great ball movement by Charlotte to get the ball into the middle. They've been very effective by that all night long.
He took one right in the chops.
Devin Sandoval.
So Jose Carranza will go to the bench, and Sandoval out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, just signed 9 days ago by this Atlanta United 2 squad.
Another veteran of Division II soccer. He'll come in the 71st minute. First substitution for either team on the evening, and Donnelly goes to his bench trying to get a little freshness up front.
Do you think, Bruce, this game could come down to those super subs making a play?
Don't they usually come down? It's either to jumpstart an offense, or if it comes down to kind of trying to grind out a game. Substitutions at this point in the match are more for the former than the latter. Substitutions late in the game are usually to either change a result or to keep a result. At 1-1 right now, Atlanta is looking to jumpstart their offense a little bit. Carranza wasn't a very active part as much as, say, Samuel was or even Bello was. And so they're going to be looking to Sandoval to show Charlotte something they haven't seen yet this evening.
Kevon George wins it for his team. Duckett now sending it back to Dykstra, who gives it a ride.
You're also going to see Sandoval play a slightly different type of soccer that Carranza did. And Samuel should be able to benefit from that.
Sam Vines over to Ekra. Ekra sees an open man wide. No flag will go up, and Christensen will collect the lob inside the box.
And we still, and I'm really surprised by it, 71, 72 minutes into this match. And the frenzy of play that we've seen, just going side to side, has really been impressive. I mean, this ball is not going to stay in the middle of the pitch, as Atlanta is now in the final third.
Tempo's certainly been impressive all night long. Charlotte trying to get some numbers up. Cordell Cato with Ekra. Ian Ekra, nice touch. Time and space now for Martinez. Defense able to recover though. Martinez hesitated just maybe an extra second.
Second time in as many trips down the pitch, Alex Martinez letting the play slow down in front of him, gathering up defenders, being unable to take a rip on Christensen.
Duckett. Pass going to be taken out now. Atlanta United 2. Can't get possession back, or no? Now the whistle will come.
And Atlanta will just spend as little time as possible in the middle third before they push forward.
Oliver Shannon. Joseph Samuel. Quality touches. But too much traffic in there for Charlotte. Ekra able to win it back.
One of the rare times that Atlanta takes the ball towards the final third and runs out of real estate and the passing lanes get clogged up.
Here's Kunga trying to sneak a pass through. It was cut off by Ekra.
It was intended for Sandoval. Sandoval is just such a big target. Big, strong striker. Likes to poach as much as possible, and that's why you're seeing him play such a high line.
Coming up on about 15 minutes of regulation here at the Matthews Sportsplex. And who is going to walk out of here with the points? Will it be Charlotte? Will it be Atlanta? Or possibly both?
Well, if the game was to end right now, you would say, okay, both teams deserve a point. Neither team was particularly better than the other one. And I say that in the best possible way. I mean, these are two teams that have played very even through 75 minutes. Both have had their chances. Both have played well on offense. Both have played well on defense. At this point, it may just come down to which team avoids the mistakes and which team takes advantage of the mistakes.
I've referred to Charlotte tonight many times as the Jacks, as they are called a lot locally here. You know why they're called the Jacks too. Captain James Jack, who delivered the Mecklenburg Declaration of Independence back in 1775. Here comes Cordell Cato holding it up, waiting for some help. And the help arrived, but it was a little bit late. That was sort of an ugly possession there for Charlotte. So much for Captain James Jack in 1775, Bruce.
What you're talking about that is handball is not called. And you start talking about Captain Jack, and I'm thinking that Billy Joel is going to show up, sit down at the piano and play a song that he only really plays in Philadelphia. As many times as I've seen Billy Joel play, and I have never seen him play Captain Jack. I'll take it.
77th minute. And subs starting to warm up for Charlotte. Caleb Calvert will come out. Kai Vosier, young man out of Switzerland, will come in the midfield for the Independents.
That will happen in the 77th minute. So now each team has made a substitution. Calvert was very active throughout this match. Didn't quite come up with the goal that he wanted to, but he definitely had his opportunities. So we'll see how this substitution plays out for Charlotte.
Caleb Calvert, just 21 years old. Just a pure number 9 player. 1 goal. And that last matchup with Toronto. Miles Robinson now for Atlanta United 2. Drew Felios with Bruce Silverman coming down the stretch from Matthews Sportsplex.
Atlanta just looking for the passing lanes right now as Charlotte's doing a good job of keeping their defensive shape. Nifty little pass.
Oh, nice touch there. And it's Chris Goslin making magic right now for Atlanta United 2. Andrew Dykstra trying to get his defense in the right spot. And Independence marking tightly.
Yeah, this is probably the longest possession of the second half for Atlanta. You see a lot of high pressure by Charlotte as Metcalf has to come up and gather it.
Careless pass that time. And now Charlotte can go to work. Running wide on the right. Oh, that was a golden opportunity, as it was Cordell Cato who was calling for the ball. It just took him a little bit too long. That instinct of getting it where it needs to be, Bruce, it's been just a little bit short tonight for the home team.
Yeah, if I've made one criticism of Charlotte tonight, is they're a split second off on the passes. They're a split second off on pulling the trigger on their shots.
Without question.
Might very well be the difference between 3 points and 1 point, or 3 points and no points.
Ball's going to belong to Atlanta.
Gotta love the Charlotte fans singing a little Beatles, a little twist and shout.
Sights and sounds for Matthews.
Certainly the boys in blue have given their fans something to shout about tonight, especially at the 37th minute, that goal by Herrera. There have definitely been some twists in this match.
Joel Johnson with Vozier, who just checked in. Vozier, touch pass to Cato. Cato back to Vozier. Now Cato again. Here's Sam Vines slowly creeping up. Martinez active on that left side. Circles around. Gets it back. And Martinez cut off just before he's about to let it rip.
Atlanta so cool and calm and collected inside the box. Not a lot of panic there. Able to clear it out. Obviously, Charlotte right back on the ball as it gets flicked forward.
Offsides. Easy call that time.
Now less than 10 minutes to go in this match. Now it starts to get interesting. What is Donnelly going to do against Jeffries? And we're starting to find out right here.
So Mutaya Mwapi will enter. Alex Martinez will come out.
And this substitution is made for a couple of different reasons. One, Martinez not pulling the trigger when he should. But with less than 9 minutes to go in this game, he comes out because he's sitting on a yellow card. That yellow card that he picked up in the 32nd minute makes Jeffries have to make this move, because as this game progresses, you need Martinez, you need that side of the pitch to be aggressive. Martinez makes the wrong move, and you find yourself down a man with the game on the line.
Great point. Now Atlanta quickly on the attack. Kunga working that right side. Help comes over for Charlotte. Can he get by the double team? Yes, he does. Inside the 18 and scoring! Oh my!
Wow, what he does to get through all of the defensive pressure, to keep his composure. Kunga just working through the defense, keeps the ball on the left foot, finds a very, very narrow sliver of room to put it in the back of the net, and Atlanta, in the 82nd minute, changes this game.
It has been the homegrown guys tonight, and Kunga, Angolan descent, but raised in the United States, making magic for Atlanta United too, and they have got the lead once again.
Wow. That is as pretty a goal as you will find today. You've got 15 games. We said that was a record for the USL. That might be the goal of the day. Not only for the narrow area he had to work with to put it through Dijkstra's legs, but the individual effort to dribble it down the line, even to get the shot off. And Atlanta is up 2-1.
So, Bruce, are you campaigning early for possibly the USL goal of the week? It was that good one-on-one.
No, it really was. Look, this is one game. There are 14 other games today. There's still more tonight. But you're going to be hard-pressed to find a more blue-collar goal.
Just made it happen on his own that time. Now Ekra and Charlotte with time now precious for the home team. Do they have one, possibly two good runs here left in them?
And the interesting thing about this is the ball is gathered up and it will stay with Charlotte. Charlotte has had the ball as we got into the latter part of this second half, and we've got one more substitution for the home club.
So Perez is going to come in, Ricardo Perez, and Kevon George, who also has a yellow card tonight, will come to the bench. Fans here a little bit shocked after what just transpired and the magic from Lagos Kunga.
And a couple of minutes ago, I started on the point that the substitutions and the gamesmanship between Donnelly and Jeffries was going to begin. And Jeffries, he came to the table with a disadvantage in the hand he was dealt. And that was because both of the substitutions that he's made recently have both been because he had to take out guys that were sitting on cards. And right now, Donnelly is not only sitting on a 2-1 lead, but no one's got cards.
Johnson, the perfect cross, and it finds a way in the back of the net. Charlotte able to equalize it again. It's the ageless wonder, Jorge Herrera.
And just when you think that Charlotte has their back against the wall, who else? The hardest working man in the Queen City equalizes in the 85th.
The elder statesman, Jorge Herrera, with the right foot, gets it right by Paul Christensen, and we are knotted at 2 apiece in the 86th.
Credit to Herrera, but also you have to take a look at Christensen not gathering that ball up. That ball was savable, and he wasn't able to gather it. And so Herrera has himself a brace.
Second goal of the night for Jorge Herrera, third goal this season. Coach Mike Jeffries said, I don't think I've been around a player who reads the game, reads things before they happen like Jorge Herrera. He has proved that here in this second frame. Oh, a near chance that time for Atlanta United too.
Yeah, very dangerous as Sandoval was trying to collect that ball and put his foot up in the air, and lucky there aren't a few teeth laying on this Charlotte pitch. What's going to be interesting as we get to the end of this game, Drew, Atlanta has 2 substitutes at their disposal. What kind of moves they make. The other thing about this is, how does Atlanta react to being up 2-1 82 minutes into this game and then giving up a goal 3 minutes later?
And what interesting storylines tonight. The youngsters, Bello and Kunga, for Atlanta United 2, both getting in the scoring column, but the elder statesman Herrera, 38 years old, saying, not in my house to start this great rivalry with Charlotte and Atlanta.
Well, it's gut check time. It's gut check time for the youngsters because they played well enough to get out of here with 3 points. And it's gut check time for the home club because they have had to come back not once but twice.
Atlanta will throw this one in. Less than 3 minutes now in regulation, and significant stoppage time likely coming up.
You know what's beautiful about the beautiful game, Drew? If this was any other sport, after that equalizer by Herrera, they call timeout. And in this game, you can't do that. You saw Herrera not once but twice score, gather up the ball in the back of the net, put it in the center and say, let's start it up again. And he does that because of the experience, because he knows he wants his team to get right back on the ball. He doesn't want Atlanta to be able to slow things down. He doesn't want Atlanta to be able to recapture and recompose themselves. He wants to keep that pressure on. And the way that Charlotte has been playing in the last 10, 15 minutes, they're the ones that are the aggressors. They're the ones that are in possession of the ball. They're the ones that are putting pressure on Christensen and company. And just a few moments ago, you saw the benefit of doing that.
Joseph Samuel played solid tonight for Atlanta. And now Johnson really playing along that touchline on that far side. Charlotte needs it in a better spot.
And you're seeing Atlanta slightly get away from what got them here. And that is pulling the trigger on passes a little too quickly. Earlier in this game, Atlanta was taking the ball, going station to station, being very patient in the final third, and having their opportunities. And in the last couple of trips down, you've seen them get away from that.
Kunga sends it wide. Metcalf was there. And now Joseph Samuel trying to keep it alive.
You saw Sandoval do a good job of keeping the ball on the pitch a little bit ago.
Bello had that first goal tonight. And Charlotte able to clear, but Atlanta not taking their foot off the gas pedal here. Metcalf looking for Samuel. Samuel trying to fight off the defender. Can he get a shot off? Yes, he does. But the defense again able to help out Andrew Dykstra.
Yeah, Samuel looking for his second on the season. He isn't able to get it, but he does earn his club a corner. And as we get to the 90th minute, we're going to have 4 minutes of added time for your viewing pleasure. And Atlanta, very impressive trip down and big time fighting by Samuel just to get that shot off.
And good job that time by Duckett to get on the ground. As we got a full moon tonight. And another corner kick. Corner kicks tonight brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Stoppage time, here we are. Charlotte and Atlanta. Oh, the header sent on, hit the post. The rebound try just off from Kunga. They could not have asked for a better chance than that.
Wow. Cochran, outstanding job to put his head on it. Unfortunately for Atlanta, it hits the bar, and then Kunga with a wide open opportunity for a brace, and he goes wide left.
Oh. That was Cochran, former St. Louis FC star, former first-round pick of the Houston Dynamo, with the header attempt that time.
Yeah, that ball was put perfectly, and really couldn't ask more of A.J. Cochran unless it goes into the net, because that was headed absolutely perfectly. Unfortunately, like I said, for Atlanta, the ball hits the post, and then Kunga going to volley it home, and he just got the laces on it.
Collision there near the center circle. And finally a whistle. It comes very late. Crowd not going to be happy about that one.
No, definitely not. And Sandoval will take his time getting up. And you can see the way he's grimacing in pain that that took its toll as we take another look. Yeah, that's going to leave a mark.
That was Vosier head-to-head on Sandoval.
So we're halfway through the 4 minutes of added time.
Ball sails into the box. Oh, another chance just outside the 6, and it went right to, guess who? Sandoval, the guy who just went down.
And Sandoval was trying to just volley that one home with the left foot instead of driving it into the ground. He drove it over the net.
Samuel. And the whistle will blow that time. The ball will go back to Charlotte here. A little bit less than 2 minutes to go in stoppage time. Charlotte and Atlanta. Do we have one more goal in store for one of these teams?
The way this game is going, it's a great possibility because neither of these teams has taken their foot off the gas from the opening whistle.
Had about a 20-minute lull at the start of the second half, but outside of that, it has been electric here tonight at Matthews. This one's going to get away. Cato couldn't separate that time.
It's been a well-played game by both of these clubs, and you know, we talked about the rivalry in the different sports between these two cities, and you could very well, when you talk about taking your foot off the gas,
Vosier
let this play out.
Over to Cato. Cato will take the shot. Defense right there to head it out. Cato will try and stay with it, though. Sandoval not making that easy.
I was about to make a NASCAR reference, so we'll say Rubbin is racing as Atlanta is sprinting.
Kunga already has a goal tonight. Look at the speed. Bello trying to make it happen. That shot goes off to the right, but hold your breath.
The speed of this game, you would think it was being played at Atlanta Speedway or Charlotte Speedway.
And that is going to do it. And fittingly, it ends on an attempt from George Bello going wide right. Hold your breath. We had a fabulous night of soccer. How about Herrera on the home side?
You know, as an elder statesman myself, I definitely take my hat off to him. What an outstanding night. He has the brace for the home club. You got goals by Kunga at 82 and Bello at the inverse at 28 to get that result. This is the perfect result for this match. 2-2. We will come back to wrap things up from Charlotte in a moment.
Well, first matchup in this rivalry, this I-85 Derby, Charlotte and Atlanta United 2, and it certainly lived up to all the billing. Drew Felios with Bruce Silverman. It's a 2-2 draw, but so many big-time moments in this match and sort of a glimpse of the future for Atlanta United and the Colorado Rapids. Early on, George Bello, the 16-year-old, squirting through for the goal.
Outstanding individual effort to stay on this ball and just knock it home. Man, the future is bright for that young man right there. And you know what? If you're going to wrap this game up in a neat little bow, just call it fun.
How about Jorge Herrera, that wraparound? He added to the fun for Charlotte. Herrera gets it done in the 36th minute. So that equalized. We're tied at 1 apiece, and that was the score at the half. Herrera savoring his second goal of the season. But then, second half, Atlanta United 2, very calmly. How about this play from Lagos Kunga?
Kunga probably with the best individual effort for a goal on the early season. Goes 5-hole on Dykstra, and this is a 2-1 game, and you're thinking Atlanta in the 82nd minute might be looking at getting on the highway with 3 points.
I think that very well could be USL goal of the week. Atlanta was on their heels, rather Charlotte on their heels. The Independents find a way. They go wide with it, and when times get tough, you know who to dial up. Number 10.
You go to Father Time. You go to Herrera, who bangs it home, and it's 2-2 at the 85th minute, and then it's just a race to the finish, but neither team is able to find the back of the net to break the tie. And if there was a game in which neither team wins and neither team loses, it's this game, because both of these teams deserve to get out of here with a point. It probably would have been anticlimactic if one team was going to hang their head.
Got to mention Joel Johnson on that final assist to Herrera to equalize. And then you saw the play by Cochran that nearly gave Atlanta United 2 another lead. Here's the final numbers. Any numbers really stand out to you, Bruce?
No, because possession, we talked about it. It's a misleading stat. Charlotte had the ball more. I thought it was a little bit more equal, at least at the beginning of the second half. And the only stat that ever matters is the one at top, and that's 2-2. Both of these teams leaving with a point, and Charlotte will stay atop the East on this young season. Atlanta so very, very impressive from the opening whistle. Charlotte showing why they are the class of the East. But hey, did Atlanta not send a message to the rest of the USL that we are here to play?
Well, it's time now for our Wells Fargo save of the game. Both of these goalies conceding 2. And Andrew Dykstra, Josef Samuel had a great opportunity early. Dykstra gets on the ground and denies what would have been the first goal of the match.
Yeah, and it would have been the second of the season for Samuel, and that blast was put in a spot where Dykstra had to get out in full stretch and knock that one away. 2-2, outstanding match, entertaining match on a beautiful night here in a beautiful venue. Next match for Charlotte, they're going to go to Nashville, who gets their first win and their first goal of their USL campaign. This is shaping up to be a very fun, and I keep going back to that word, fun season.
Both teams pick up the point. Atlanta United 2 and Charlotte, and great times to come in this outstanding rivalry. Hope you enjoyed it. For our fabulous crew here at Matthews Sportsplex, just outside Charlotte, alongside Bruce Silverman, I'm Drew Felios. How about Atlanta United 2, and how about the Charlotte Independents? 2 teams to reckon with in 2018 in the USL. Have a great Easter weekend, everyone.
Cast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.